Welcome to episode number 1 of 5-Minute Serverless-First. I know what you're thinking. This must be another video that is going to tell you that your serverless code ultimately runs on some server in the cloud. Or perhaps you're thinking that serverless is some snippet of code that gets executed whenever an event fires. So you want to notify people that your build completed successfully, and you want to send a message on Teams or Slack. You can do that using serverless. Or perhaps you're thinking that serverless is a stateless programming model that can do things like data transformation. I'm here to tell you that the definition of serverless has gone well beyond these pinpointed examples that I cited earlier. Serverless has broadened into an architecture that is enabling companies to focus on writing code rather than running it. Let's explore this further. So you don't have to worry about the underlying servers. You don't have to worry about patching them. You're probably thinking, well, I don't have to worry about servers when I'm in PaaS either. But you still have to worry about patching them. For example, a lot of managed Kubernetes instances still require you to have some responsibility for patching it. Serverless also gives you automatic scaling. Now you're probably thinking, PaaS gave me some scaling. Yes, you got some rudimentary scaling, but nothing like seamless scaling that scaled your capacity in milliseconds, not in minutes. You don't have to worry about load balancing. And finally, you do not have to worry about paying for resources that you're not consuming. In other words, you're only paying on a consumption-based model. These ideas together, the various services, not just functions as a service, is termed as a serverless architecture. Let us take a step back. I'm using a term loosely here called Cloud 1.0, and some have used this term. It represents all the advancements in the cloud over the last decade. It is remarkable that a lot of programming in the cloud has not changed. We still use the same languages, we use the same frameworks. What has changed, however, significantly is we don't have to provision servers, we don't have to set up routers. All of that is done through infrastructure as code. But the programming model in the cloud has not fundamentally changed, and we are still dependent on a server-full model for building our applications. So if I look further here, Cloud 1.0 has given us things like infrastructure as service, which offered us virtual environments. And then, of course, you had the platform as a service that provided you runtime environments, abstracted you away somewhat from the underlying servers. And then you have services like containers as a service that gave you a way to host your containers without having to worry about the underlying orchestrator. Cloud 2.0, as I said earlier, is not just about functions as a service. It is about a collection of backend services together that allow you to focus on writing your application and not about running it. Let us go ahead and look at each of these bullets in a little bit more detail. So you have the backend as a service, as I mentioned earlier, collection of cloud services such as storage, push notifications, databases, SQL, NoSQL, authentication and authorization. These are all services that developers can leverage via APIs to compose their serverless application. And then, of course, you have the function as a service, which I mentioned earlier, abstraction on top of PaaS and containerization layer. And compared with PaaS, PaaS is more granular. It is deployed by the provider, so you're not deploying them. And then both cost and scalability is based on consumption or usage. Functions are not just stateless. You can manage state. You can do checkpoints and restarts. You can also do things like built-in retry logic, rollback capabilities, deal with errors, exceptions, and all of that. So as you can see, you have this rich set of services that you can bring together to create your serverless application. In the next video, I'm going to show you these characteristics in action. See you in the next video.